Okay, I think we're recording. Welcome everybody, it's Christina Merkley. This is the second one of, I'm calling them processing pop-ins. The first one was for the Working Visually E community, and probably most of you are working visually in some capacity or other. A lot of people in my network are, but there might be other people too who aren't. I also work with people outside of visual practitioners. So we, bit by bit, it may move as I do these into kind of a larger context and a different kind of audience than just us visual practitioners, but we'll see. There is a page, I'll flash it up on the screen at some point here, might as well do it now, called You've Probably Found Your Way. If you found your way here, you probably have already seen it. I want to bring it up and just mention it because the recordings are going to go on here, and I'm just doing this by instinct. So it has been 1 week since the last one. I don't know if it's going to be one more week till the next one, or I'm just kind of seeing what unfolds like we all are with events here. So this session is being recorded. If you, first off, you don't have to participate at all. You can blank out your screen, but we will get interactive very soon. And I am recording, so it's up to you. You're just going to be a little thumbnail because I'm sharing my screen. You and me and whoever's talking will be thumbnails, so you won't be seen very large. You can also change your name if you don't want your name. If you happen to have your full name right now on your Zoom identifier, you can also change that. And if you do want to get interactive with me, but you don't want to share your video for privacy reasons, whatever it might be, you can turn off your video and we can still interact by hearing your voice. Okay, and you'll see as we get going about what I mean about interactive. There's also some examples in here of what we did last time. I may do something similar. It's a nice place to start with a tool I use called the Flip It Map. It's a way of collecting different perspectives. And then from there, we may dovetail into some other tools. So again, I just work spontaneously and emergent about what unfolds here. Also on this community support page are several visual tools, probably the ones that I will be using. Just know that they're posted over there. This is unusual. I don't really often share a lot of these publicly. People usually have to come through my visual coach certification or be clients with me to be able to have access to these. But given what's going on, I cherry picked out ones that I think are most useful. We may not use all of them tonight, but you may want to poke around that page. There may be things that will be of use to you. A couple of them have full ebooks, so full instructions. Some of them are just maps. They don't have ebooks to them. So if I do use them, you'll get a sense of how they work when I'm working with the group or working with individuals as we go along, but just know that they're there. And I may post some more depending on what I think is going to be useful and needed. And I will, on this page, depending on what happens in the future, I will post the Zoom link there. And if you're not already in my list of my network and you want to be notified of when these things are happening, you can go to my page and sign up. This is my regular database list. So I'm not doing like anybody, a whole bunch of marketing. So you're not going to get a bunch of marketing stuff right now, but just know it's my main list. So you can always unsubscribe, right? If you don't like what I'm sending you. But I will be sending out the updates about what's happening with these processing pop-ups. Okay, I think that's all I need to cover there. Now, I want to just do a little scene setting here. I thought this quote up here at the top was really great.
Christina, we can't see what you're
sharing.
sharing.
Thank you so much. Crap. I always do that on Zoom. Yeah.
That's okay. We got it.
Yeah, well, it'd be much more, hey, visual and entertaining to like actually see it.
Yeah, that's what I thought I'd tell you.
Thank you, Jody. You got my back, girl. Yeah. Anyway, I went through that page and showed that community support page. So anyway, you get what's on there. Okay, thanks. So just a couple of things to kick us off. Wonderful quote here from the Dalai Lama. It's under the greatest adversity that there exists the greatest potential for doing good, both for oneself and others. I'm looking for different things that shine the light, right? And my whole shtick is about shift it, and that's what we're shifting to, right? Is where can we find the things that give us hope, give us potentiality, and that there is this greatest good that can emerge out of all sorts of things. We, especially those of us who are change people, we know that, and we know that pain is often part of those change models that we tout in our business meetings, right? And now we know it, and we live it, as we have in other situations in our life, and we certainly don't know what's unfolding here. Last time, I won't go into this big time here. Many of you are aware of scenario planning, so we've got different axes, right? I've been using the axes of the virus and the economy. I'm sure there's other factors here we could play with for scenarios as well. And then it's a degree of impact. So is this going to be mild, or is it going to be medium? I think we're probably definitely into the medium here. Or is it going to be kind of severe? And that could be virus-wise, although it's looking, and I have Andrea is one of my clients who works here in Canada with infectious disease. So I might mic you for a second here, Andrea, so you can pipe up and speak with us and maybe tell us where we think this is, mid, medium, or severe here with virus. And then of course, we've got the same thing, mid, medium, severe with the economy. And these things can pair up, right? So depending on if it's, we may end up with a scenario. These are 9 different scenarios that can play out with this axis. And in traditional scenario planning, we have indicators. So when things start to show up, ding, 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 that's our indicator if we're moving from one scenario into another. So, you know, if we were mild, maybe economy now is, the fear is about this medium, and maybe virus moves up to medium, then we're moving into a scenario of virus being medium and economy being medium, right? Or maybe virus is minimal and economy is severe, right? Who knows? This is all in flux here. And this is how scenarios play out. So being in that now and just waiting to see, as I'm sure the different people who are responsible at various levels for assisting with these things. Andrea, do you mind if I unmute? You know how to do that on your end, and anything you want to say, just kind of introduce the context. Kind of fascinating that I have someone from my last cohort with infectious disease. That's kind of divine, isn't it? Yeah, divine
It
timing
is
here.
rather. I just so folks have the context of where I'm coming from. I'm a veterinarian, and I work with a community for emerging and zoonotic diseases. And so this is something that's been predicted for a long time. It's not a surprise to a lot of us. Most people in the world, I think, probably have heard something about this kind of event. And so my perspective really is coming from the animal side. And on the animal side, it's mild. We don't see the animals themselves being sick. Few detections of virus on dogs and cats. Actually, not on cats, just on dogs at the moment, and they're not sick, and there doesn't seem to be any big impact. So we're not worried about that. We're more worried about people freaking out and abandoning their pets when it's not necessary. My gut feeling on the human side is that right now in North America, that's sort of medium. I don't know that we're at severe yet. You can't really tell. What we do today predicts what's going to be happening 2 weeks from now. And so if we can have the social distancing, if we can have the lockdown today, then 2 weeks from now, we'll start to see things differently and it'll start to decline. But it just depends on people's behavior. At the moment, I'm saying medium for the virus, and what people do today predicts what's going to happen in the future. Economically, it's hard for me to say. My world is easy. I work for the government. I still have a paycheck. So it's, you know, I think it's going to be very, very hard on a lot of people, depending on what the government comes in and brings to us.
And other ways that we may respond to
Exactly.
it too, right? Not just government,
Yeah.
but there may be all sorts of ways that people can support each other and
yeah, for sure.
collective together and etc. But yeah. Okay,
absolutely.
thank you so much. I really appreciate you popping on and sharing, gives a little bit of context there. Good. And we're both here in Canada, so that's a Canadian-centric point of view. And it may obviously be a different scenario for what plays out in different places, but one we'll see. And we have I'm horrible with names, but Fabrizio in Italy, right? Maybe I could unmute you if you're willing to speak. Anything you'd like to share from your perspective? You're ahead of the curve than where we are.
Yeah, we are in a tough situation right now because you know it's since yesterday there have been 400 more people death, and the curve is increasing rapidly. There is no. We are just waiting for new government indication about what to do, because it's almost 2 weeks that we are at home, and there are still people moving around, and therefore the virus is still spreading, and there are no correct understanding of when the situation could get better. So at the moment, we are waiting for information every day, just to see whether the restriction are increasing or not, and also whether there is a sort of say reduction of the numbers. But so far, every day the number of infected is improving, and so the curve is just going up.
What's it like for you with groceries and stuff? You're allowed, you can get into supermarkets, you can get into pharmacies.
Yes, so far, yes, you have this capability. You can enter for food or groceries or whatever. They stopped mainly the shops that are not selling things that are for primary needs, let's say. And therefore, and this will go till the end of the next week. But we are just waiting for more restrictive conditions, because there are still too many people around. There have been some doctors coming from China that were speaking the last day. They were astonished that there are still too many people around. And therefore, especially in the region where Milan is, they are asking for more severe condition for having people not leaving home. Because for the moment, there is the north is particularly, let's say, affected by the virus. From Rome and below, let's say in the south of Italy, there is lower infections, but the number is going to ramp up.
Okay, thank you so much for your information.
Sorry for my English is
yeah,
not so.
No, I think your English was fabulous, and unfortunately not fabulous information to have to communicate, but we really appreciate hearing from you where you are. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I can't see my whole screen here, but Julia, if you're here, let me know. I know you're in Italy as well, from another place in Italy. Okay. Also, it might time-wise not be great for Africa. I had a client on my, Kristen, if you're here, unmute yourself, was in Kenya. And Kenya, boom, within a day in terms of quarantines and taking control, right? Being able to put down different measures very quickly around people's movements and different freedoms, for good and for bad, being able to do that. Okay, so if anybody else is in a particular region that's impacted in a way that might be different from, say, North America, and would like to share your perspective, feel free to unmute yourself. Okay, I'm going to go back here because I think we're going to move right into some processing here. a couple things I want to say. Now, with the work that I do, I started as a recorder and then a facilitator. Oh, did somebody unmute to pop up to say something? No? Okay, maybe just a mistake there. And do a lot of strategic planning and visioning kind of work, scenarios, conflict resolution, mediation work. All the way along have also been working with individuals as a coach, doing a lot of business development work, particularly with visual skills. And then I am a seeker kind of person, very spiritual. So all the way along, there's been a deeper work of mine of really emotional management, frequency, vibrational management. And my work more and more is going there these days. And it fits, and that's what I think mostly I can be of service for in these kinds of forums is I have this whole suite of tools. So bringing out these suite of tools, I've had my e-communities, many of you are from them. Obviously, this is a way to expand what we've been doing in the shifted e-community into a bigger kind of context and let our fellow colleagues and other people here in the world aware of some of these tools. And, you know, they're just offered with open hands to you, up to you if you want to take them off of these open hands, right? So when I work with my programs, I use the metaphor of a coffee table, right? Even though we're able to connect in with each other from all over, think of us around a big coffee table. And I'm going to be putting different things on the coffee table. And when I start working with people and do the processing work with them, they're going to be laying down their own things on the coffee table. So your own particular rule is just your own discernment. And I would say use your nervous system to gauge whether you want to pick something up off of the coffee table that somebody else placed there or not, right? And when we have a nice big group like this, we have diversity of experiences, perspectives, as you started to hear, regions, backgrounds, knowledge. And so these throwdowns get to be really interesting as we get into the process work. We're going to be primarily looking at, and I don't do this a whole lot as a coach. Normally we want to be focusing on the vision and the positive feeling stuff. But what we're doing here, it is what it is. Let's start with the stuff that doesn't feel good. So know as we get into this, it might get a little icky feeling, right? You might already be feeling some of that, but it might get more as you kind of hear from other people and what their fears and concerns are. Just know I'm not going to leave you hanging there. And these tools and processes are very practical to use to move yourself up this vibrational scale. So really up to you with those throwdowns, what you pick up using your own discernment. And I would also say to you, and this is the big thing with my work, is notice any triggers or charge, right? You probably come in with your own things that trigger and charge you, and you can use these tools for them. As we bop around with each other too, it's a wonderful opportunity because people are going to share a bunch of different things, and some of those things may trigger you and charge you. Create a charge. Pay attention to that. Even take a little note paper and write down, what was it that somebody said, right, that got you, that created a reaction in your nervous system. Probably what we're looking, and it might be the positive ones too, right? What are the things that soothe and bring relief when we start doing that work? Note those. Those are the things that land for you, that soothe or clarify things in your nervous system. So having a sheet of paper nearby as we go along is going to be useful. Also, depending on what these triggers or charges are, there's an opportunity to do inner work via the tools that we'll be using today, and also maybe through some of the other things that I've posted up on that community support page for you. Today, I'm probably going to do Flip It. That is a cognitive exercise that is handy for all sorts of things. So that's going to be probably useful for everybody here. There's another tool that's called the Orphan Rescue. That's deeper. And some people are going to be ready for that and some people aren't. It's a very powerful exercise that will help you get into who inside is uncomfortable. because my belief and my experience shows me that the things that happen in our now that we have trigger or charge to usually have roots somewhere else. Yes, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on that just as human beings, it's normal that our nervous system, in terms of its, you know, survival responses and stuff, right, are gonna get nervous about. But usually each of us individually get nervous about interesting things. And pay attention to those and maybe go into these tools and you'll uncover what that is connected to. This is going to help you. This is going to help the people around you. It's going to take the charge off. It's interesting intellectually and cognitively, but it's also very powerful for what it does for your nervous system. So it's a gift in disguise, this triggering and charging stuff. And, you know, there was a lot going on already, particularly in politics here in North America, with people being polarized. Now with what's going on in the world, it's all going up a notch. It's a real opportunity to, we're all uncomfortable, right? And those of us who are oriented towards process work to do our work. So I'm laying out the tools, up to you about whether you want to dive in and do it. In a broad stroke, I've got this character here. I tried to make it kind of androgynous. My assistant's name is Pat, but I don't know, some of you will remember Saturday Night Live. I think it was with the sketches with Pat, androgynous Pat. So you can make this man or a woman here. But this is what we're playing with. I'm gonna elicit out the gremlin. And there's different other ways to think about this. And some of this, another thing I need to put here is wisdom versus trigger. Some things isn't a trigger, it's actually just wisdom you need to pay attention to, right? And other things are a trigger, and there could be some sort of wounds or things in there that need to be dealt with from previously. This guy here, gremlin, you can think of it. Itty bitty shitty committee is another one. The devil is a quick shorthand. Anybody else, coaches and process people in the group, what do you call that side of you? Mine, I used to name her Wanda. On the flip side, we're playing with states of consciousness and it's fun. There's some chats going in there, so read them out to me, Pat, if we've got some other names in there that people are coming up with for that state of their consciousness. We've also got the angel over here, right? The polarity on the other side. The angel, the higher self.
Philip said stinking thinking, and Patricia Selma says Myrtle.
Okay, good. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. And you're probably going to get well acquainted if you're not already with these sides of yourself, and you can come up with your own fun names for them to personify them, right? Which helps lighten it a little bit. Inner self, higher self, angel. Over here, we can have heart. This is mind, usually, when our minds get going. And there's a thing here from kind of unity consciousness, right? Inquiry work. Taking a little bow. This, we all love angels usually, but the devil side, the Myrtle and Wanda sides, we normally don't like and want to kind of stuff them away, right? Sweep them under the rug. That which we resist persists. So we can't resist this guy or girl, whoever it is in there. We got to get curious about them and get in dialogue with them and understand them, and maybe even bow and thank them, because underneath it, this stuff is usually about, you know, safety and protection. Especially when we get into the survival stuff, right? Where our little sweet physical bodies, nervous systems, mayday systems start to come on. So bowing to that part. So this is with the shift it with my stuff, we want to invite all of it, right? It's not just like, let's get off this gnarly stuff into the good feeling stuff, you know, having some maturity to be able to remain in that uncomfortableness. because there's not going to be, for some of us, instant answers, or all of us, as we go along here, right? So actually get into a bigger consciousness too, as we play with these polarities. Let's get up and over it, which is what my work will do to get us into unity consciousness, right? Which is a neutrality, really. And so getting beyond some of these preferences if we just want the angel and isn't that gremlin so bad? No, we live in a dual plane here on this planet where we've got light and dark, good and bad, and get mature about working with that holistically. And again, bowing and appreciating that so-called negative and not wanting to snuff it away. Okay, over on this side, this will be a little seemingly new agey for some people, but many of you I have turned on to the Abraham Hicks materials over the years. They've, I connect in with them still to these, to this day, to find out what they're up to and what they're doing and what information they're sharing. I'm a process geek or wonk, and I love process stuff. This is very useful to understand the emotional scale and to do a little litmus test and figure out where you're at or on a particular subject or topic. At the bottom, and this is coming from the Abraham Hicks source. Many of you are therapists or counselors. You will recognize this. If you're into nonviolent communication, they have some of their own scales and stuff that are very helpful. I've kind of shifted the colors from more of kind of a darker, deeper kind of thing, going up lighter as we work up the scale. So down along the bottom, the deepest emotions for human beings are fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness, right? The stuff that we turn in on ourselves. And insecurity is in there, guilt, unworthiness, jealousy. Now we're starting to actually move up the scale. And we're starting to see with some of the ways people are reacting to things, this next range where we get into hatred and rage and revenge and anger. Notice those are actually higher feelings from some of those lower ones. So where we get all turned in on ourselves and collapse, those are deeper places to be and less empowered places. Actually, when people get angry and they go other and they start fighting over toilet paper and stuff, right? That's actually a more empowered place. So try to keep that in mind. In a way, it's better than some of the other options in some ways. Discouragement, we're getting up here. Discouragement, blame, worry, doubt. That's higher. That's beyond that gnarly stuff with the anger and the fighting and stuff. Now, you know, we have some good old discouragement, some worry, some doubt. I hover more in there. I worry. I'm a 6 on the Enneagram. I'm very good with worry. Keep going up. We go into disappointment. Some of that going on with some of the things that are happening in the world, like toilet paper hoarding and things. Overwhelm. Probably a lot of us are feeling that. Frustration, irritation, impatience. These are right smack in the middle of the vibrational scale. So if you're feeling that overwhelm, you're actually kind of midway in the emotional scale. Keep going, pessimism, boredom. Then we start, there's something in here called the hope line, which is where we really start to elevate it. Remember how Obama used hope as part of his campaign? Somebody knew their emotional wisdom there, because when you start to get hopeful, and that's back to this quote here from the Dalai Lama, right? There's hope in that these challenging situations, out of that contrast comes rockets of desire. And all of us who are process people who do visioning work, we know how powerful that is when people get focused on what they do want as opposed to what they don't. Right? So when we start to cross and get a whiff of that stuff, like his quote is, that's powerful. And that's powerful as a collective of people start to do that. And maybe people who aren't used to doing that. A lot of us are used to working like that. A lot of people aren't. So when they start getting there, wowza, right? Like that's a wild card in a positive way. And then we move up to optimism. You have more of that. Oh my God, maybe this isn't going to be so bad. Maybe we are going to come together. Maybe so-and-so agency over here is actually going to get its act together, you know? So that starts to really make a turn in the nervous system and overall with what happens with people and dynamics. Then we get into positive expectation and belief, enthusiasm even, eagerness, happiness, passion, and up at the tippy top, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation, joy, right? That's even just saying it, I can feel with those words and what they represent, right? That energetic, how beautiful that is. So this is a key thing, this emotional scale. And you could take a little, test on yourself where the words are arbitrary, they move along, they mean different things for different people, but you get the general sense of it. So feel free to use the chat and we'll get a sense of where are you? Where do you fall on this right now? It depends on what you're applying it to. We could apply it generally to this particular situation with the virus as it's doing its thing around the world, right? And one of my favorite things as a coach is who are you today? And I could even change that to who are you this moment? Because we may move, and one of my clients the other day was saying it's a roller coaster, right? I'm on a roller coaster. It might have been you, Val, saying that the other night, up and down, right? So just this to realize, right? Oh yeah, I've moved up here on the scale. Now I'm down here. Ooh, crap, I dropped down here, right? Depending on what you're watching, hearing, responding to, interacting with people. Yeah. And what's going on in your internal makeup. Okay, so pinpoint your emotion. And then obviously there's maybe not obviously, but let me say it, there's spirals, right? You can spiral up, and that's what we're hopefully going to be doing here as we start getting into our work, or you can spiral down. And that's why I'm continuing to offer these things. So for people, especially people who are spiraling down, this can act as an interrupt, right? To come in, stop that spiral, get yourself stabilized, get yourself turned around, and where it's authentic and genuine, not a fake Pollyanna thing, right? Spiritual bypass thing, but actually, if it is there, what can you reach for, right? What can you selectively sift out of the things that are shared today that actually maybe do something for your nervous system that moves you up? Okay, and don't try to do big gigantic leaps here and go up to the tippy top. Quantum leaps are quite jarring. So look for something incremental from where you are for your particular nervous system and situations. Okay. Any questions and comments on that kind of contextual stuff? Let me take a look at chat too, see what's going on there. Good, we see it coming in. There's some fear in there, there's overwhelm, we've got optimistic. Yeah, when we get a group of people together, there's usually a real range of stuff going on. Worry, hopefulness. Last week was disappointment that led to anger. Heather, yeah, good. Good that you're identifying it and can see the swings. I'm glad I see Shanna's with acting. There's one thing I didn't put on here, but I wanted to, which was kind of the yin yang, and we can do it in different ways, light, dark. We did that already, but doing and being. And I'm a doer too. So for me, this is just thank you. This is a blessing for me to be able to provide this and do this, because it allows me to get into my particular do mode, right? Helping people do or be. So some of you, it may be very much, and as we do the work, you might get into, as you do your emotional management stuff, you can see what's there in terms of aligned actions, right? What are your steps from here? I put the take action map. I was looking at Dana, I said, yeah, it is called take action. Take action, action plan. I can't remember what it's called now. Now I'm looking at you. But on the community page, I put an action plan in there, because for some people you're going to be doing, right? Doing in your household, doing in your role, doing in your community, doing in your region. So others of you, it's not the right thing for you to do. You actually need to be. Some of us who are particularly overzealous doers, right? Our doing might be to be. Our doing might be to get quiet, to go sit on the ground, get our hands in the dirt, look into somebody's eyes, whatever it might be, right? To just chill out as opposed to jump into doing. You'll figure it out. It's each of you is your own thing. Okay, let's bring up, I'm going to go into the flip it. Okay, here's the flip it. If you joined us last Thursday, or you're a previous client of mine, you may be aware of this. Those of you who have worked with me. This is one of my tools from Shift It. It's called, I have this section in Shift It, the T at the end of Shift. It's called Trouble at the Border. So this is a psychological border, or emotional border in this case. So we are going to, as a group, do some popcorn style of pulling out. We see many people are up on the emotional scale, so you guys can kind of sit back, and as we do this, it might bring you down a little bit, but don't worry, you'll pop back up. I'm going to gather all the, remember that figure there, the generic Pat. Hey, Pat. You've got your angel and devil, just to keep it short and sweet. Call them whatever you want to. We're going to mic up the devils. And they're looking at the situation, whatever's going on, immediate where you are, looking out there in the world, or looking at the news, media, and the devil's going, hey, psst, psst, right? It's trying to get your attention. Maybe it's shouting in your ear with the megaphone and it's saying stuff. We want to hear what it's saying, and we're going to get all those out. We're going to fill up this whole sheet, and like I said, don't worry, it gets a little funky feeling. Just hang in there. However, we won't stop. Once we got it filled out, we're going to go to the top, and this is where the flip comes in. And it's an authentic, genuine flip. I'm going to go back to the people whose flip it was. I'm going to invite you first to find the counter. This is where that angel comes in. And, you know, a legitimate thing. Usually the angels are quite soft in how they speak, right? They're not, they're soft. They're a little gentler. You might have to lean in to hear it, but it's going to be there. And this is where it's magic, especially with a group of people, and the brilliance that comes out of people. And get your pen handy as those angels start speaking, and you'll be like, whoa, that one was good. Thank you, right? Write that one down. Okay, again, it's recorded, so when you interact with me, if you don't want to be in the recording, you may want to turn off your video now if that's important to you. Or if you're fine being you and showing that, you're just going to be a little thumbnail here, so no one's going to be able to see you too much anyway. But let's start populating our flip it map and seeing what we've got in the group here. As you mic up your devils, unmute yourself and let me know what they're saying. What's their yeah buts about what's going out in the world?
Beth has one in the chat already. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Okay. The devil says, the economy is tanking, your portfolio is crushed forever, you will be poor forever.
Yeah.
That's the big one. And then there's one from Susan.
Give me one sec. Give me one sec. I'll go to that next. I'll get me this one down. Economy is tanking, portfolio crushed. Was that the words?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good, you know, that's, I do, yes, I can do a bunch of icons and whatever, but when I'm doing this kind of work,
Yeah.
I'm doing particular words, everybody. So crushed is that's a particular word. So I'm glad I got that. Yeah. And what was the next bit of it, Pat?
Forever, you'll be poor forever. It's crushed forever and you'll be poor forever.
Okay. Okay, forever poor. That gets it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Beth. First one on the board. Okay, I'll go to the list in a sec, but anybody who wants to unmic so we can hear energetic as well is helpful.
People won't react the way that they need to stop the virus from spreading.
Okay. React or behave, I'm
Behave,
guessing,
yeah.
eh? Won't, yeah, okay, behave as they should. As they should. And then what would happen if they don't behave as they should?
The virus will keep spreading.
Okay.
Christina, I have one for you when you're ready.
Please, go for it.
There's not really help for gig workers. So gig workers are not going to be part of any package or focus.
And so what's going to happen then if we're not part of any focus or package?
We're going to have to sort it out ourselves.
Yeah. That sounds actually pretty optimistic. And I know you and me went through 9/11 together. We know we survived and sorted it out. So is there, we'll sort it out ourselves. Is there a yeah, but or a negative to that? What's the?
I think that is negative. I have to figure this out on my own. Geez. No help.
Okay, there you go. The no help is what it gets to. I'm on my own, no help. Thank you. Okay, what's next? What next emerges here? You guys are doing great. Give me one from Pat, from chat, Pat.
Okay. Well, yeah, thanks. Don't share, Andy says, don't share anything good that has happened. Keep your successes secret.
Ah, oh, because, so is that like guilt?
Sounds like it to me.
Let me see.
Yeah.
She's willing to speak it out.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of guilt
Yeah.
for me.
Like I'm okay, or I'm feeling okay about it, and everybody else is kind of triggered or in a hard spot.
Yeah, you know, I'm fairly calm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not that I never have a tinge of fear, but really, it's almost like a natural, I feel naturally like it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually makes me sometimes feel like, should I feel that way? Like, is there something wrong with me? Because everyone else is panicking around me.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a natural, like I look around and I'm naturally seeing like, things are good for me. I mean, I've had a couple really good magical things happen to me. I have a fridge full of food. My kids are safe and healthy. Like I feel very, very fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
But even now I'm noticing I'm trying to whisper.
Yeah, okay.
Like really, I'm trying to whisper like nobody, like none of the other people on the phone are gonna hear me.
So I'll put it's bad to be fortunate. I can't speak my truth, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like on PC or something to speak your truth.
Very un-PC. And I'm really recognizing this as like something super deep that is just now only allowed to come out
That's
right
good.
now.
Oh, I just got goosebumps. So you just discovered an orphan. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Like
Good.
deep. This feels like super deep and super core.
I'm not going to get you to say it out loud unless you want to, but there's a layer that you can do. I think that would be safe publicly, which
you can
is
share. You can
okay.
share.
So as you get in touch with that, notice where that is in your body. Bring your attention to it, and if you were to ask it how old it is, get a sense of where that goes back. Right? Everybody, this is like an interesting cocktail of emotion. So Andy's got we all do with our whatever's going on for us, but this is a great example. So she's feeling calm and okay, and feeling like she needs to like make herself a bit smaller, tone it down, make it quiet. People are going to be upset to see that she's fortunate, you know, that she's actually okay. So probably somewhere else you have felt the same interesting cocktail of emotions. Zing, go wherever you go. And if you want to share, where do you go? Is it as an adult? Is it adolescent? Is it childhood? Where do you zing to?
I zing to like, I don't have a particular thing, but 5 years old is really what comes up for me.
Yeah, okay, good.
Really, and I can tell that I probably wasn't 5 with this memory, but like it's very young, and it really feels like performing just seems to come up. Like I see myself like having to get into a mold to be what somebody else wanted me to be.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. And that's the same thing. We can see how that fits, that there's peer pressure seemingly, or at least how you're interpreting it, to behave and perform, and it's not how you're naturally feeling. Yeah, and you could get in trouble, or something
Totally.
could go on if people knew what was actually authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, and get in trouble. There's a big, that was the exact phrase. Like,
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the little kid, like, I don't want to get in trouble. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, and for little kids in general, like, what does that really mean? I mean, that's just like the worst thing that can happen to you as a kid. I mean, obviously there's,
Well,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
it's
Well,
that primal fear of getting
there
in
you go.
trouble.
Exactly. Right, right. And we're social beings, right? And
Right.
our survival depends on other people being okay with us, particularly as children, where it all gets started, right? But
Right.
in this scenario too that we're in, same thing. I mean, we're
Yeah.
very dependent and interdependent. So there's a deep primal thing, I think is a great word there, of I don't want to get in trouble. And if I pop up and be how I am, I might get slammed and get in trouble to various
Mhm.
degrees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, I know it's not good, but
No, it's
from a
good.
process
No, it
point
is
of view,
good.
we're getting to the gnarly stuff, so it's good.
Totally
Yeah.
good. It's totally good.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to come back to it, and that was a little segue too to go. There's some entry into the trouble at the orphan rescue tool. Good. And Andy's been through that and soul retrieval, soul integration work, so you're familiar about what I'm speaking about. Good. Okay, let's keep going. We're going to fill this whole sucker out. Who's got another one?
I have a bad one.
Well, I'm going to unmute myself. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It's Val here.
Hi, Val.
I was thinking about a kind of mental cycle thing that happens where there's sort of a natural, for me, a natural curiosity. I mean, a hunger for what's going on. And I want to catch the news and I want to get all the latest information. And some of that's sort of a little bit hopeful. And a lot of it is, oh my God, it's worse. It's worse. And it's, you know, doom and gloom. And then there's also the sort of inspirational things where they say, wow, you know, here's like the best of humanity and the worst of humanity that's emerging. And then you see these best of humanities things and you go, wow, or I go, wow, what am I doing? Like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not being heroic. I'm not. And so then there's that guilt thing. That's what kind of triggered
yeah, hearing the word guilt.
To yours, Heather, a little different spin on it. Like, there's nothing wrong with me as far as I know. But then I have worries about my partner who's in several vulnerable categories. I mean, technically I am too, if you go on the age alone, but, you know, so I'm more inclined to be out and about and do my long walks and that sort of thing, but there's always this, well, am I exposing myself? So then there's kind of a feeling of, okay, well, you know, yeah, I'm sure I could do more. What could I be doing for my community? And then I'm like, okay, every time I go out and do something, then I'm not, you know, I can be exposing myself. And then there's, what about my projects? I haven't been focused on my projects and I have a commitment by the end of March, and I'm like, keep putting it off, and I keep coming back to what's the news now, and it's like this weird loop, and because I guess I don't have a structured, my usual structures aren't there, and I know a lot of people have found it's really helpful to actually make a schedule, and you know, create some structure. But anyway, so those are some of my gremlins, I guess.
Okay, I captured them. You've got about 3 or 4 of them in there. So we'll come back. We'll cycle around it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's get a couple more.
Christina, it's Beth.
Yeah, please.
For me, just wrestling with a sense of loss. So I was really, really excited about March break, and I was going to fly west and see the kids, and we had all these fun things planned. And then literally maybe 2 hours before my flight was to leave, I just didn't show up at the flight. And so, you know, I think about just the multiplication of losses, some quite large and then some little things. It's hard to know where to put all of those things all the time. And I'll bet you we have lots of things. I look at my calendar and there's just a strikeout of all these things that are canceled, just canceled. It's not like there's a replacement for it. They're just canceled. So yeah, just trying to know where to put all, like multiple disappointments, losses at the same time.
Very good. Breakthroughs, multiple losses. And to what Val was saying about, you know, normalcy and structure, right? There you had that whole calendar. I get it, me too, to some extent. Most of my stuff's online, so it sticks, but definitely my in-person stuff is all gone bye-bye. So yeah, and that thing, like, we know what we're gonna be doing. And especially those of us who live very structured lives, right? And structured time to get in there and have your fun too. It's like, dang. Yeah. Okay, very good. Thank you. Keep them going. What else? Get down, look at this. Okay, Pauline's
Christina,
got a good, yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Susanna here, and there's a few that are coming up for me, but I think the last one is the one that really is ringing true, is that I'm not allowed to feel grief for some of the stuff. So, because I feel like I have a home right now, my job is still steady, I have health, I have food. So it's almost like I can't then feel like, you know, I was going on a trip to Spain and Portugal to walk the Camino, and it's been my dream.
Wow.
And I was finally taking my mom, and I were going to spend some time together, and then I was going to be on my own. And there's part of me that goes, well, how can you be sad about it, because you're really in a really good place, right? So it's like not allowing myself to feel that loss. And it's not a huge loss, but it's a loss. It's still something that I was really looking forward to, and absolutely a couple of my gigs got canceled, but I still hadn't made the leap to not have my ongoing office job. And definitely other things. And I was in Manitoba recently, so I was on a plane, and it was just from Manitoba, but it definitely feels that, and I didn't think about it, and I went to see an elderly friend, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Because things hadn't gotten so serious yet when I came back. So yeah, just not allowing, because I have so many things to be grateful for, not allowing for that space to just feel the loss and the fear and the sadness. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to come back to that one. Thank you. I'm seeing Louise's, let me get, let's get Pauline's in there. It's a little lighter, but it's still got some pathos to it in there, doesn't it? I can't believe humanity's lowest denominator is toilet paper. But really? It's definitely a triggering thing. I have my theories about this with the root chakra, good old Freudian anal theory, where it descends to. Some people got some issues. Okay. Louise is saying, Devil says with work drying up, I'm not going to have enough income to cover my car payments and my regular life expenses. So survival fear. So income falling, bills, survival. Okay.
Christina, it's Jody.
Yeah, hi Jody, please.
Hi. So I'm a big fan of like apocalyptic movies and like post-apocalypse movies and like the dystopian stuff. Like I totally love that stuff. I don't know why, but
now you got predictive programming going through your head, like, ooh.
It's starting to feel like all the movies that I watch.
Yes.
And it's freaking me out.
I'm
it's
glad
not freaking me out. It's just making me step back and be like, whoa, like we're here already. Yeah.
tried to spell apocalyptic last time. I can't even say it.
Do you want me to? I already Googled it.
Good, thank you.
Oh no,
Go for it.
I have dystopian. Never mind. I have
No,
dystopian.
I think I can dystopian. I think I can spell that.
Okay.
Apocalyptic. I think I'm getting closer. Yeah. Okay. Tell me your movies. I know mine, like TV series. That damn the Walking Dead, the zombie one.
Oh, Children of Men is one of my favorites.
Okay. Children of Men.
Yeah. Like when women stop being able to produce babies.
Okay.
Yeah. What else is a favorite? I'm also really
Handmaid's
into reading
Tale.
Octavia Butler. She's a total sci-fi futuristic, but it's very dystopian. But it also has what is the Netflix one? Black Mirror.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All this like weird technology future stuff.
So let's poke on it a bit more.
Okay.
So these movies, what's the gist of them? And you're like, oh crap, it's turning into what I used to watch for entertainment. What's the fear under that then? What's gonna happen? What are those movies about?
Well, it's more about like I guess the loss of like the life we used to have. Yeah, I guess it's loss.
And what is the life like in those movies? What if you were to give the descriptive words of those?
Yeah,
what is
like
it?
Gritty.
Yeah.
It's like scarcity. It's dark. It's isolating.
Now we're getting there.
Yeah, it's like controlling. It looks like militaries everywhere and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also there's these little peaks of like, little garden growing on the side or something, so it's this, darkness and light thing.
So there are some light spots in there, some gardens poking up. Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe even starting to flip it there with saying that. Okay, thank you for
Christina.
that. Thank you.
Hey, Christina, it's Renee.
Hi, Renee. Thank you for coming again. Yeah.
Yeah, good to be here, and thank you again. Something I'm starting to feel tension around is having to choose to do things that are for my own benefit. There are things that I do that extend way beyond me. I do work to help cultivate a leadership network. I do these things, and most of them are just things I do. There's no monetary return. But in a matter of 2 10-minute conversations, I watched about $12,000 just go poof, right? And so sitting with that, and then sitting with, here are things that I believe that I have a part to play in that are beyond me, but they take time. And it's like, how do I reconcile the tension that I feel about needing to pull in and take care of myself? And that's a real hard place.
Let me get tension. Yes, tension to pull in and look after myself. Yeah, I know you, and I know what your practice is, and I know all the amazing work you do. That's such a different thing for you to.
It's hard. It's hard. Just talking about it, this is the first time I've said it out loud. I've been feeling it for several days. And, this is the first time I've said it out loud, and as soon as I started talking, you can see I'm crying. I don't want to be there. I want to be able to be the giver, carer, doer, and not have to worry about myself or to have to feel. I don't want to feel self-centered. I don't want to feel those things. I've never wanted to feel those things. I don't know quite. I was already struggling with.
If you can keep poking into it, you're doing great. It's the self-centered, so that this is like, if I look after myself, if I pull in, right? This too, we're poking into orphan territory. So I would say to you, like, where have you felt before where it was wrong or uncomfortable or not you, right? Where you have to go to you as opposed to other, or where did the other thing get set up, right? Those are questions for you to sort out. I'm going to point you to my orphan rescue, but I want to just extract a little more out here if you can. What's it feel like in there when you start to look after yourself?
Place. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like,
describe the hard. So I feel self-centered. I feel.
I resist that. I so resist that because somewhere, and I don't know where, when.
Many of us process people probably got something in our past that you know,
somebody
for good or for bad, we got programmed and trained that we must look after others, and it's bad if we look after us, right?
I've been wrestling with the getting to the balance, and I felt like I was closer, and then this happened, and what I realized was that no, I'm not closer as close as I thought, because I still have this, you know, and it's kind of hard to explain at times because I am a person of faith. I feel immensely blessed. I mean, just like immensely blessed. And so I never challenge myself not to give, right? And so it's hard to sit in this space and recognize that I must do this. Otherwise, it's just like, you know, you want to go out to help or whatever, but you really know that if you do that, you actually could be tipping the scale in the wrong direction.
This is actually how you help others, is by looking after yourself, right? That might be the flip. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so the tension there, it's like the between that wanting to get out there and wanting to follow your usual instincts to get out there, but needing, if I stay in, what's that? I'm self-centered. Anything else there? Is it as blunt as I'm bad, or I'm, yeah.
It's the tension of, okay, I must do some things because I can't afford not to do some things. And it's kind of it's a very,
I get it. I'm just trying to go emotional. So,
yeah.
And I can work with self-centered. There might be some more stuff there, but we'll get it. Okay. Thanks, Renee.
It feels selfish. That's what it feels.
Yeah, there you go. That's another self one in there. And probably under that, if you're selfish, you're what kind of person? If you answer that. So if you're selfish, then what?
That I don't know. I guess when I see things where where people seem to be kind of bent in the other direction, where it's really all about them, I never wanted to be that. I never wanted that perception. I never wanted the question about, you know, are you in this for you? Or are you in this for me? Or
so if somebody's in it for themselves, what are they besides these things? Are they bad? Are they narcissistic? Are they?
It's almost like you're taking something away from somebody, you know? It's like, how, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. I can feel it. I can feel like, you know, you have much to give, and yet you gotta balance this out to, you know, it's kind of like, how do you not tip over? You know what I mean? How do you do that and still maintain the integrity of who you say you are?
There you go. It's the opposite of integrity. So what is the flip? What's the opposite of integrity? If you don't have integrity, what are you? Anybody else play the game in chat or pop up? Yeah, Beth, what's the flip of it? This was your game.
Hypocrite.
Ah, that's one to consider. Okay. Anybody else? What's the flip of integrity?
Being a fraud.
Okay, fraud. Anything else?
Dishonest.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. If that was my dream, that's what I get in. You're dishonest. You know, you're a dick. You're what else? Maniacal.
Well, ultimately,
Yeah.
untrustworthy, and that people will want to distance from you.
Okay. Okay, good. Now those are on the coffee table. They may not land for you, but they give you some more there, Renee, to poke into, and we'll come back to it. Good. Brenda's got one. So much for big life changes. You're about to move here down the road where I live to Paradise on the Water, right? And like, geez, talk about timing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And in here I see in the chat, oh, this means I'm back to square one. I'm back
Yes.
to where I started.
And then the other side of how could I feel that when so many people are hurting?
Yeah.
Then the guilt comes in. That goes back to I'm pissed off. My dragon, I call her the dragon. I don't know that she's a gremlin because she also carries a lot of wisdom, but she's been roaring and thrashing and tearing up stuff and, attacking, blaming, judging. And yeah, I just want to get in my vehicle and drive out west, and that's not what I'm not going to do that. And but why not? So it's like I'm alone in my house, and it's like I have a whole house full of intruders. And they're not happy. The committee is not happy. And then there's mocking, like it's quite bizarre. And I'm being recorded, but that's okay. And there's the mocking. Oh, you think you're so smart. You made this big move and you decided to do all these things.
So you're kind of like, yeah,
And
you get what you deserve, sort of thing. You, what do they call it? Crab in the bucket syndrome. The other crabs are like pulling you back down, girl. It's like, how dare you try?
And then I go, then the angel whispers, oh, but this is the time you're looking for. You can start packing. You can start sorting your thoughtful decluttering that you and I talked about, Christina. This is
well,
time for that.
You're already flipping, so I'm going to put it down there.
Doing that, and then the dragon, I don't know, she finds something, and then she starts roaring up again. So
okay,
yeah,
we'll come back.
Having a good time.
We'll come back.
Here.
There's a bigger thing there. Okay, we'll come back to
Having
that.
A good time over here.
Just unpacking is not, or tidying is not going to claim or tame that dragon. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for hosting this.
Thank you. Oh, my pleasure is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
It's all good. No,
yeah.
Not all good, but a lot of it's good.
Pat, help me with this. What else do we got down here? I can see.
Okay. I got one. If I can get my Yiley had, if I said that right, was, and I can't find it because my computer's kind of freezing up on it. But it was about travelers that are coming back into Canada not having the information they need to maybe as they're coming back in to kind of self-isolate and spread.
So they're going to screw up the rest of us because they come in la-da-da and don't really get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that yours, Yuli? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. That's
Yuli. Okay, sorry, Yuli.
Thank you, Pat. So nice to see you finally.
Nice to see you
behind everything.
Now I know how to pronounce your name. So.
Oh, likewise.
She normally reads it.
Yeah, I'm concerned about travelers and Canadians returning home who've been abroad and away, and I know there's a lot of racism that's been targeted toward some groups, and so I just hope that everyone who comes back who's a Canadian receives the support that they need and isn't discriminated against while they're in quarantine.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, we got one more. I'll leave this for somebody to unmute. We can keep going, obviously, and there's more in the map, and you'll see how this works, and you can all get your flips done, whether they're on my board or not here. What's our finale?
Hi, Christina. It's Shelley.
Hi, Shelley.
One of the things that I like to put on the board is that there have been times that I've experienced this feeling of feeling powerless. I can't control what other people do and how they behave. I can't do anything about whether or not the border crossing is closed. There's so many things that are occurring where I'm reminded that my ability to choose and decide is not mine. And I feel really vulnerable in moments like that.
For everybody, whatever our flips are, we can do the same thing. But this one in particular, and I can feel it in some of the other ones. I feel orphan here too.
Oh yeah.
So just because of the intensity, right? As my nervous system feels it. So you've got some good words here, and the words are ways of representing the energy. So that powerlessness, that vulnerability, not being able to choose or decide, right? Freedom, even.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess there's somewhere back there, and there might be multiples, right? You might have it, sometimes it's a necklace, right? It's like a pearl necklace with these beads. And you go, ooh, I felt it there as an adult, maybe certain situations. Oh, there's another one, adolescence. Oh, usually childhood. Especially for vulnerability. Yeah, it would be for me too. This stirs up for me like stuff around my powerlessness in my home. Yeah. 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 Okay. So go to the orphan rescue. We'll do the flip on this, but when we can feel them like that, then there's some work there to be done. Yeah, with that sweet little orphan, and using your adult consciousness and or your future self. I have the future self. Shelley's one of the certified visual coaches, so you know this stuff. And you've got lots of other stuff behind you. We'll come back. Thank you. I'm glad that's a bottom one here, because usually that's what happens with this map, everybody, when you could do a map yourself. Those last couple ones, keep asking yourself, what else, what else, what else? You'll normally get to the core, deep foundational stuff in the last ones. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Anybody who we didn't get to, don't worry, we'll through what's going to happen here, you'll get her done, and it's teaching you to fish, right? What we're doing here, if you didn't already know how to fish this way. Okay, so stand up and give a little shake, because we took a lot of stuff on. So however, you might sweep it off the arms. I feel it in the back of I always get it in my shoulders. I have a rotator cuff injury that's come on these last couple weeks, right? Each of us feel our stress in different ways. So however it is for you, pay particular attention to that spot in your body and love it and thank it for holding so much. It's trying to hold it all for you. Okay, now we begin the work which will help here with shifting this weight on us to whatever way is congruent and authentic here. We go to the very top. I can't remember who this was. I think it was Red. Oh, I do know now. It was Beth's, right? The economy is tanking. The portfolio has been crushed, probably crushed forever. I'm going to be poor forever. Thank you, devil. You've got your devil inhabiting in your body somewhere on one of these shoulders or somewhere else. Now now we have to do, let's know where that devil is, everybody. It might be in various places. I think that's why my shoulder's here, because my devil sits there. Now, Beth, now let's go find whatever you want to call her, right? We need to summon, this is states of consciousness, so we're going to summon another aspect of our consciousness, one that, talk about that vibrational scale, right? Can go higher vibrationally. Doesn't mean she's fake. Where is she? Is she on a certain shoulder? Where does your angel lie in your somatic?
The angel, well, Myrtle's here and the angel's here on my left and right.
Okay, so she's on one of those shoulders. So we've mic'd one side. Now we're going to go mic the other. And so we go to that angel. I guess the Myrtle's the gremlin. We go to that angel and we'll say, okay, angel, you've heard Beth's, you know, your particular gremlin. You've heard all the other gremlins in the room. Now we're going to zero in on this particular one. What does that angel, you might hear words, you might get impressions, you might how flashes of something, whatever it is. What does she communicate to you?
She would say that the word forever is a pretty big word. So she would not dismiss my worry about the economy, but she would say forever is a big word. Might there be another word that you'd like to hold on to?
Does she have any suggestions?
For a short time, or I'll have to think about that one.
For a time?
For a time.
Maybe it's not a short because you don't know, but maybe for a time. I mean, it's not forever. Who knows at this point? We don't know. Go back to the angel and try this if you can. This is embodiment. Everything's about embodiment, right? So see if you can get on in there into her. I know she's on the shoulder, but bop your consciousness in there, get inside her, look through her eyes, inhabit her wings, whatever she's got, right? And and as I speak to you, see what she says and say it as her.
Forever is a time that we don't really know. For today, what makes you rich?
Good channeling there. Let's go back over to you. Pop your consciousness out, put it into your normal consciousness, not the gremlin, just normal you. How do you respond to that? Does that land for you? Does that soothe your nervous system? Do you have questions or yeah buts for her?
It doesn't, I wouldn't say it takes away the nervousness. It's just that it adds some
nuance, eh?
It adds mitigating or neutralizing. So I don't feel like it's disingenuous just to say I'm not nervous about it. Like that's not true. But to add an antidote to that nervousness, or to add
so there was a shift there, is what I'm hearing you say, that it did do something to your nervous system. That was powerful when you inhabited her and channeled her like that. Did everybody notice that? That was a different energetic when she spoke that way. So you really did tap into her. And then when I brought you back into your now consciousness to see how you received that, you're like, wow, okay, I'm still nervous, but that did something for me. That's a legit flip. That was good. Well done. Okay, now you can keep going the dialogue, right? So now you could now you could go with the, just to give you pointers here and for everybody. It's not like one flip and you're done, but I am going to move on to somebody else. But I get curious about that nervous. So you're basically saying, yeah, I'm nervous. So to bop over to her, how would she respond to that? Be her. What does she say?
Yes, you're nervous. She just acknowledges it. Like I don't want her to bash me and just say, well, you're stupid for feeling nervous.
Yeah, so you did, that's it. It's congruent. She's like, you're nervous. It's okay to be nervous. Yes, you're nervous. Allowable. She's not telling you to not be nervous.
Yeah.
She's not telling you to take a quantum leap up the emotional scale. She's just putting some nuance in here that takes that edge off and like, let's just wait and see. Forever's a big word. Okay. That's good. You got a good one. You access. Now you know you can connect. You back and forth, back and forth. You got an ally there. Okay, well done.
Okay.
People aren't going to behave as they should, and this virus is going to just spread all over the place. Who was that?
I think that might have been me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it was Peggy. Thanks. Yes, I can. Yeah.
Yeah. So
let's try the same thing with you.
Okay.
Just it helps to access it, because if we stick up in the head, right, we get a certain place, but if we embody it, sometimes you get there better. So maybe you know where that gremlin is in your body or which shoulder it's on. Where's the angel in you?
Right through the shoulder and heart on the left side. Yeah.
Okay. Good. So put your consciousness, go right into that left-hand side, that shoulder, get in there and turn around and be her. And from that place, see how she responds. Outside, she sees you, now current Peggy, having that, people aren't going to behave as they should, and this is going to spread.
Yeah. And it will. It will spread, and we'll learn more, and people will behave better. All of it. It's an experiential thing, just like so much of life.
Oh, Peggy, goosebumps. Bop yourself out to your now consciousness. See how that landed. It certainly landed for me. I use my own nervous system as a gauge, but it doesn't matter if it soothes me. I hope it soothes you. I mean, it's nice to soothe me or others. Did that. I just want to check.
Yeah,
So
it's real. I mean,
yeah.
I do think that was an authentic response.
Yeah.
It will get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
But we have to go through it.
Okay, there you go. More goosebumps. There's some sort of wisdom or unfolding happening here. Okay, thank you. Again, if you have yeah buts, then you just continue to the dialogue, right? Now consciousness or gremlin says they're yeah buts, go back, embody angel, and go back and forth. Thank you. The gig workers, boy, closing restaurant, well, not just, they're another, I guess, I mean, gig workers, like a lot of us who are self-employed, but anybody who's gonna, oh, that was Dana's, yeah, us visual practitioners, etc. Good. No help for them. I'm gonna be on my own. I'm gonna have no help. This is also an orphan. There's somewhere back there where, if you're still with me, you have felt this, so you're going to have to go back. I don't know if it was back at 9/11 times or whenever you experienced it previously, but there's probably an orphan there. Are you still here? And let's flip this one. Or if anybody, I think, I don't see Dana on my screen, so she may have left us. Anybody who can jump on into this one who has this similar. Renee, I'm going to go to you.
I can.
Go, yeah,
Christina.
Pauline, perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so no help for gig workers. The flip to that would be, I've done it before. Why wouldn't I do it this time?
Okay, good. Now, in your scenario, have you been a gig worker and you've done that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So it's authentic
Been
for you.
there.
Yeah.
Done that.
Yeah.
Nobody's helped me before, so it doesn't matter. I'll make it work.
Okay, good. Now, it might be lined in Dana differently, but this is a good one for how it's lined in you. It doesn't matter, make it work.
Yeah.
And the whole on my own thing.
Yeah.
Does that layer into you in another way? No help, I'll be all on my own. Does that?
No. Just,
no.
Yeah, got it. Can rely on it.
I'll be on my own. I'll do it again. I can do things on my own. Okay, very good. Thank you. Anybody else who has that gig worker one and the stuff about being on your own and having no help stirs you maybe even a little bit more than it did for Pauline? Okay, I'll leave it. I'm calm. This is Andy's. I'm calm. Should I feel that way? It's bad to be fortunate.
Yeah, I've been really sitting with that. It's very interesting because through the whole process, I got to the same place as of this vulnerability that other people's got from, you know, the scarcity. So it's just energetically the same for me. The primal fear and vulnerability was what's underneath all that. And when I step into the other part of me, it says like the energy is relaxed, like open, because I'm contracting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like relax, like, you know, relax,
open body,
fine, but it's like relax. That's like, it's in my solar plexus, the devil,
mm-hmm.
like
mm-hmm.
contraction, total tight heart solar plexus. So it says just, you know, open. And it also says, this is what you've been working on. Like, this is literally what your practice has brought you to be calm,
your edge
amidst
mm-hmm.
chaos.
Mm-hmm.
But really I have, you know, practiced for many years.
It's the fruit. You've done
it. The fruit of
mm-hmm.
my labor to naturally be calm amidst chaos.
What do that little child in there who had some stuff happen, what's the from your adult consciousness, what do you say to that little child?
What's coming up is that this was your normal. So anxiety, this anxiety, this vulnerability, mm-hmm. this was your normal, this was your familiar. And I'm trying to get the words, but it's like, that was familiar. And so because you don't feel that way, the new way feels unfamiliar, and that's making you feel vulnerable.
So maybe it's something
but really, like, it's
okay. Honey, it's okay to give it up. You're not there anymore. You've been rescued.
Yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of it. It's like, I know that feels like okay, because that feels normal, but
so I'm gonna do this first.
Yeah.
Fast, I mean, and first and fast. Take her by put your arm around her.
Okay.
And time travel, you're gonna boom, take her into your now, or take her into wherever she's supposed to go. That feels right.
Yeah.
And when you do, I'm gonna be behind you and I'm gonna collapse this down. And I'm gonna invite my helpers, and I have different demonic beings to help me do this. We're gonna collapse this sucker down. And it might not just be that one, it's multiple ones from childhood, and we're gonna collapse them all down, never to return to again, done. So she can't go back, it's not there anymore. Yeah.
There's no there.
There's a new normal.
Yes, a new normal, and it's okay to feel good, period.
Yeah, yeah. It's okay for this be weird to be feeling good. It's okay to have the majority of other people not being, but you do. It's like, okay, I can acclimatize to this. I can get used to this, right?
Yeah,
Tell the little girl, it's okay. You'll figure out how to do this.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
Yay.
good. That was quick. Done. Sometimes it can be as simple as that. You've already done so much work on it. So I think there was just a little leftover that you forgot to collapse it. You just needed to collapse it. Never return to. Yeah. You got to move her out of there. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a reason why this all synchronicity came together. You know, there's a reason. Thank you.
Yeah. My pleasure. More guilt stuff. Val, I'm not being heroic. I'm not doing enough. If I go out, I could have with my partner, this loop kind of happening. I want to take the first one about the I'm not doing enough.
Okay.
What's the flip to that? What's your angel say? I'll help you if you need to get in there and body her, but you're probably with watching the other ones going on, we're all getting closer. Is that true? Are you not doing enough?
I don't think it is true.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm balancing my energies quite well between taking care of our home and my partner and my own health and well-being. And I'm taking in information about what's going on in the world, and it's affecting me a lot emotionally. And I'm also reaching out a lot to friends and loved ones. So I'm putting energy into connecting with people that are important to me. But I see all these needs, and I want to, I want them to be met. And some of them hypothetically I could meet in terms of my skills, but
Okay, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you because you're back in Gremlin. So it's okay. So let's get to you. Where's the angel in you? Where does she reside? Is she on a shoulder? Is she in the heart? Where is she? She might be out of the body too. She might be somewhere else. Yeah.
I think in my solar plexus.
Okay. So taking your consciousness, taking a run at it, a leap, get into that solar plexus, turn around and look out from the solar plexus. And you see yourself out there who's in the now, doing the best you can with balancing these multiple energies, being affected, and got a loop going on. What does this perspective say to that one out there who's got the loop?
This situation's changing every day, and I can decide every day what I want to do. Right now I have an important commitment, and if I just keep looping, I won't let myself focus on this project. I really want to do it and do it really well. And then
what does she say? What does she say to that one? That might be the one outside there that she's looking at too, wants to do it really well. But I really hear this angel part too is committed to this project. And she wants seeing that one out there spin. And what does she say to that one? Or what's the...
Well, stop distracting me with all this noise about what you could do, should do, whatever. It's actually not helpful. And so what's really helpful is to just let me take in the information, what's going on, but set a limit, and then do my project, do what I can do and what I can control, and keep caring for the people and myself the way I am. And then if there's something else I feel inspired to do, I can choose that. But I always need to evaluate it, because I don't want to put myself or my partner at risk.
What does she say about that? What does she say? She get in there, and it might be somewhere else. Maybe it is that solar plexus, but she sees that now you out there, understandably being so concerned about your partner. What does she say to you? And it doesn't have to be a directive. It might just be love, right? I know when I hear you, my heart goes out of the protection, the love, the desire to keep safe.
Yeah.
Right? What does she say? She probably just loves you for that, and sees how hard it is, with all
Don't
these
underestimate what you're doing.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
And your being, and the value and importance of your being, and making space for yourself to be in this crazy environment. Just keeping yourself grounded is a lot. And is necessary.
So she's seeing all that you're doing. She's loving you for it.
Yeah, the expectations are just noise in your head, and
there you go.
Let it go.
Yeah. And even if you don't, she loves you, right? Even if you get hooked up into the loop for a bit, it's like, it's okay. I get it.
Yeah.
Got a lot going on.
Right.
I love you. You don't have to do everything perfect. It's okay. It's understandable given the situation. Yeah.
And it's a constant reevaluation. Okay.
There you go.
Where are we now?
Right. Who are we in this moment? Who am I now? Yeah. Now how do I respond? Now what makes sense? Now what's the priority? Okay. Good stuff. Remember that, right? That's, again, an ally is not special part in that body is such a treasure for you and a resource. And let's just all beam. This is for everybody. We'll beam to everybody. But I just felt the hit. Let's just beam our support to you, Val, given all that you're carrying and what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, our compassion. Yeah. Oh, and that more access to connecting to that one within you that holds that compassion for you too. You don't have to do it all perfect. It's okay. What you're doing, you're doing a lot. Step by step. Okay, sweetheart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Beth, I think this was, and we've got some others with similar ones, the loss. So bam, you know, so many, it's loss of boom, 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 boom. They've come quite quick, right? And that whole calendar is changing and those things that you wanted to do. If you're able to access that, where's your angel side? Where is she? And embody her, jump on in there. And how does she respond?
Well, it's interesting. I don't know, it's interesting because my my notice to check into my return flight just came in while we were on this session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stirring the pot, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like poke, 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 poke.
She may very well tell you, be how you are, but get in there and be her and see what she says.
Yeah.
You did it beautifully already.
I think.
No, I don't think. That's
whoever
your
just
head.
spoke before said something about. Well, it's just like, stop pestering me with these memories of losses. Like, just stop it. You've had enough. You've had enough telling me that this is lost.
That's a gremlin. Yeah. Angels aren't nasty and mean like that. Okay. And it's okay that you got, that might be the gremlin, or that might be a judge, or that might be somebody else, but it's over on that other side of the body. So let's go like you did the other one. Remember that, let me help you here. So remember the forever and the one who countered the forever?
Yeah.
Where was she again? Go in there.
So I think, yeah.
No, stop the thing. Get in there and speak as her. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's tough. That it's tough that you didn't get to go on and see your kids. Yep. It's just so just holding space to acknowledge it. Just
good. It is tough. Yeah. Don't try to bop out of this so damn soon. It's like it is a loss. Acknowledge it. She's telling you it's tough that you didn't spend that time with your children. Take that in. Don't move too fast. Take in her acknowledgement and breathe into that. I'm serious. Breathe into that acknowledgement. Feel that it is tough, and it might slip into it might slip into tenderness. And you know, you're a person who doesn't like to do the because that might be weak or whatever, but that's vulnerable. You know, Brene Brown talking about vulnerability being strength. That's exactly what you're on here right now. So I'm going to say it a couple of times just to help your nervous system hear it. Okay, I'm going to embody your angel, and sweetheart, it is a loss. It is tough.
Yeah.
It is tough. It is a loss. You wanted to see the kids. You wanted to get away. You needed it. I am so sorry that didn't happen. It's significant. Yes, there's all sorts of stuff going on, and other people got their significant stuff going on, but you do too. This was significant. It's meant a lot to you.
Yeah. Yes, and I was really looking forward to it, and so it's just a loss. Yep.
Good. Good. It's just a loss. Now let's go back into the angel and see what else the angel has to say. So angel, I'm talking to the angel. See her out there? Boy, she has a hard time allowing herself to feel the loss, doesn't she? What else do you want to say to her? What else do you want to say to this one who's got not just the loss of that trip, she's had all this cancellation in her timetable, right? She's had all these strike throughs in her calendar. This is very unsettling for her. Angel, as you look out at Beth there, looking at that calendar and getting the ding from the return airlines, what do you say to her? go in and channel that angel, Beth. Be her and see what she says to you.
Right now, she's just saying, yep, it's tough. I don't know what else she's saying at the moment. To be very honest, I don't know.
I'm gonna try one more time, and
okay.
That's just because it's the mind is there, right? And it's you have an easier access there. That's okay. I want to go back. Remember when you did it at the beginning, and there was such woof, right? I knew you were in her. So I want to help you get in her, however you can, and if we can just all kind of help send our wishes to her to be able to click in. However you did it before, wherever you jumped in and you allowed her to talk, do that again.
Well,
let it rip.
Yeah, in the first one, she said, for today, what makes you rich? So for today, what hasn't been canceled? So there's a few things today that did happen that didn't get canceled.
Good. So she's saying focus on that. What hasn't been canceled? So it hasn't all been.
No, it's not. It's not all things. No, it's not. There's some things that worked really well today, or this week even. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Good. I can hear the energy in your voice. Good. Some worked well. Good. Anything else she wants to say? Get in there and just speak as her. What else? Anything else?
Right now I'm just looking at the March calendar, and there's other pages coming.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe there's some hopeful things that are going to be on the pages.
Okay. Good. So there's a stretch of time there. Who knows what can unfold? I've certainly been when my whole life for 17 years has been self-employed in this kind of emergent schedule, and it's always remarkable to me how things do kind of start to, out of the ether, start to show themselves, right? So it's like she's saying, some stuff will show itself on that calendar. You don't know it yet now, but some stuff is going to start to take out your pencil and write on there. So
I should show you my calendar.
I bet it's very elaborate. Is it one of those big wall ones? Yeah.
It is a big wall one, and I got my big Neuland marker, and it just says COVID-19 on it.
Yeah. So for all of us, myself included, who is like our colleague here, our friend Beth, right? Who it's, my angel is saying, hey, structured ones, this is really hard for you. And that's okay. And that's okay. I'm the queen of templates. Do you think I like the control and structure? So I get it. And it's okay. It's okay being comfortable with that spaciousness in the calendar. It's okay to not have it all figured out. Yeah, I can kind of see it, Beth. Yeah. Hopefully you're hearing.
I don't know if you can see that.
Hopefully you're hearing my limbic sentences. I'll also say, honey, you're going to be able to schedule and calendar up the wazoo in the future. Don't worry.
There you go.
Another part of the brain and psyche is going to get exercised right now. That one that needs to build some muscles, spatialness.
Yes.
Spaciousness, openness, freedom, unstructured, emergent. Ugh, very challenging for some of us. Yeah. Good. Unless you're a high P on the Myers-Briggs, you like me, are probably a high J. Yeah. Okay, sweetie. Keep going. Good work. And keep going to that angel, as hard as it might be for the brain of the gremlin get in there, right? Keep going because you have the ability to channel it. Susanna, your version of it is the Camino Trail. Heart goes out to you because it's something I've always wanted to do. If you're still with me, you may have left us. Fair enough. Anybody else who has something like we heard with Beth, with the March break trip, we're hearing here. Susanna's version is the Camino Trail. Anybody else that had something special? I'm with Mexico. I don't particularly feel grief around it, but anybody else feeling that grief? What's your angel? Something and be a surrogate here. Going once, going twice. I'll go to the next one. Pauline, anything you want to counter from the angel perspective about toilet paper?
Just to lighten it up. Life's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it for me, it like this, I just see the opportunity for so much good to come out of this event. I know that this is a terrible event, but I see so much opportunity. People will change their behavior, and you know, we've got an opportunity to change the way we deal with things. Will we? Not if we're worried about TP, but if TP is our challenge, and your
It might be a symbol for some
Yeah.
people. Yeah. They
If-
might go, I might have gone a little overboard here. That something came out of me. Really.
It's sort of, if your first thought's not to hug your loved one and you're worried about toilet paper, then it won't really matter.
And anything else that the angel, if you go in and embody the angel, what does the angel say about the TP?
This is, yeah, that from the toilet paper perspective is these folks not at a high enough level.
Okay, well, go into the heart because it's still a little judgy, and the angel's more in the heart. So get into that heart or wherever your angel is and see. There's usually a softness with that angel. See what is the soft, the authentic, genuine, soft thing in response to TP. Use
That
the
it's
chat.
okay. Yeah, that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That it's okay for me to feel like it's more than TP.
Yeah.
It's more than TP. It's sort of like the focus is not right. Is not.
So we can
there.
all. So what if we don't have TP? We can do what they could have done. We can use a rag, we can use grass, we can use whatever our ancestors used to use, right? I don't know, I'm sure we can get very creative. Somebody was saying their grandparents used to use the yellow book or yellow pages. I guess we don't have that anymore, but you know, so what? If we don't have TP, the rest of us, we can deal with it. But now it's going to another level, which is, this is symbolic, right? The TP for you was a trigger, and it led to something else, which is, oh, if that's happening, then it means this. So that's really what needs to be soothed. Biggest thing. What does the angel say about what that TP represents, or what the gremlin is afraid it represents?
That truly life is not for everyone. That, you know, sort of, we're going to lose some people here.
Okay.
And this is okay.
Okay. Because
this is okay.
Survival. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So and dare we say it? Death is okay.
Yeah, death is okay.
That's a very meta statement, and depends on what angle you're coming at. And some orphans may be getting triggered here, but I know you're getting, it lands for you, so it works for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because to you, it goes to survival. TP, right? Funny, right? We thought it was a joke and light, but actually it goes to the deepest thing. It goes, which often we think is the deepest thing of how we hold death in our culture, that's horrible. And then you're saying, and I'm not saying it's not, don't take me wrong, contextual, but death is okay.
Yeah, and it's not my time.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's not my time.
Yeah,
it's
you
not
just
my
know.
family's time. I just know it. It's just not my time.
Okay, so you don't have to take that TP so heavy. It's like, okay, it's not my time. It's not our time. Let them take the TP.
Yeah. It's just TP, guys.
It's just TP. Yeah, doesn't mean it doesn't mean death. My family. It means they have a little
TP.
cushier wipe than some of the rest of us are gonna have. Yeah.
Reach out and hug someone.
Yeah. I think, thank you very much for the symbolism of
Thank
TB,
you.
because that has struck a chord throughout our culture. It's not just about TB. Now we know it can mean a lot of different things. I think we've got Louisa for this one.
Can you hear me?
Yep, perfect. Hello.
Hello. What popped for me around this, I mean, this is an old song I've been singing. It just got stirred up even a bit more with what's happening right now. And probably other people are feeling this as well in our line of work as sole proprietors, that, you know, your proposals are out and they get canceled and your clients are no longer going to work. So the projects are canceled and there's no idea as to when any of this will start, and a great likelihood that the projects that had already been ongoing are going to be permanently canceled.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of feeling like, oh, I was just starting to get back on my feet, and poof.
Yep. Just like Brenda, you relocated, and you had a big transition, and it was just starting to galvanize for you again. Get into the angel. Where is she?
I've got a sense of both kind of solar plexus and also something a little more outside of me. I'm not quite sure.
Where outside of you? Up above, to the side, down below?
I raised my right hand just to up into the side of me when I did that. So my left hand was on my solar plexus and my right hand was kind of just up into the side.
Okay, so there's an access point. So bop your consciousness, go there, turn around, look at yourself. And what does she say from that perspective? That one down there who's spun out, understandably, from her perspective. What does she say from up there looking at you down there?
Just that everything can change on a dime.
Yep.
You know, if what we're currently experiencing is not enough evidence of that, everything can change on a dime. And that, you know, right now, I'm okay. I might not really like my situation, but I'm okay. I have food, I have shelter, I have community. I'm not ill. My friends and family are not currently ill.
So if you're not ill, what are you?
I'm healthy. I'm well. You know, in some ways I'm cared for, being held. And there's this constant idea of like, somebody had mentioned before about contraction. And there's a sense of, you know, expansion follows contraction. That there's a point of expansion.
So you're like Beth and me, and we know each other. You're very smart and you're very head. So
very head. Yeah.
Pull that back, get back up into that angel, get back up into that perspective where there's openness, not the contraction in the body. Go up there and feel that openness, soak in that for a bit. Doesn't it feel better there?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's your go-to, girlfriend. Yeah. And it may shift and change, and there's other things that will get activated, and it might be a different go-to for that. But this particular thing that's going on right now, that's your go-to. That brings your authentic, genuine release, right, from the contracted body. You bop yourself out there. You go to that perspective, look at her. You feel that expansion, and you see, actually, there's no immediate tiger, even though there's all this swirl of stuff going on. You're healthy, you're well, you got community, you're actually cared for, you're held, you have food, you have shelter. I would also say your partner, if it's a fire department, that's kind of a great hookup. And all his colleagues and guys, that's a hell of a community, right? So
it is a big community. Yeah. Worry about him as a first responder.
That's another thing that got triggered. Yes, understand. And
but there is a security of an income there. Yeah.
Okay, good. That did it too, because this started with income. Good. So yeah, and that's some of the theme that you have been working previous to this too, right? To allow that. Yeah,
Yeah.
get comfy with that. Don't feel guilty about that. Boy, Louisa, now you've got the whole world in the same thing. Maybe you might be able to be okay to receive, right? To not have to do all that stuff. We get our edge. The
Yeah.
universe delivers circumstance for us to grow that edge.
Yeah, there definitely have a feeling of that. But the part you said, the tiger is not at the door, is the piece that resonated most for me.
Good. Pick up what lands on the coffee table. That's what
Yeah.
landed for you. I do a scatter approach. Bunch of stuff didn't. Good. That did. Excellent.
Yeah, really spoke to me. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. I know those lead-in bits that take up time at the beginning, I will create those into little snippets. So when I offer this in the future, I won't have to do so much lead-in. I can direct people to that. I'm just aware that, you know, we got a stretch of time here, and I want to get these done, and some people need to come and go. That's totally fine. So if you need to go, take care of yourself, do what you need to do. Thank you for coming. Hopefully what has occurred here has been of use. Also teaching how to fish, so you get the idea how it works, right? Go to those resources and stuff on the page, the support page. Go to those orphan rescues. If some of the things that I was saying to people about orphan rescues landed for you, you'll see that whole protocol. Those of you who want to keep going, I'm going to keep going here. I love finishing maps, so I'm going to keep going and finishing. And if you want to stick with me, please do. We're going to keep going. Goodbye if you need to leave. And, you know, all the best, and send our love to you. Jody. Good. This one's going to help me with my walking dead scenarios going through my head.
You like those movies too?
No.
Oh, you don't?
No, but it's like, you know, I don't know. I come back and look, right? So, yeah. Although that one I haven't been able to. But okay, so you know how this goes. So embody into that angel, and what's your angel saying about you? And Black Mirror, Children of Men, Octavia Butler stuff, apocalyptic, dystopian, you know.
I'm getting like creativity is really powerful in terms of like sending messages. And I'm getting that like all of these movies had like just little, you know, snippets of information for people. I'm also getting this like that, is it life follows art or art follows light, you know, that cycle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm also getting, I had this really beautiful conversation with my son when he was really young, and he was really into zombies and I hated them. I thought they were disgusting, and I made him turn off the video games, and I did a piece of artwork with him, and he wanted to do zombies, and I'm like, zombies are super creative. Like, I had no idea the creative content of zombies. So seeing this, walking through the streets, the empty grocery shelves. Yeah.
Go into the angel.
Yeah.
And what does she say about that? As
Yeah,
she's
the
looking
angel
at
says
that, and it
totally
matches up
okay.
those movies, apparently.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm getting it's totally okay.
Great. What else does she say to you from that perspective?
Yeah. She's
Is it the movies? So nowadays consciousness Jody is saying, oh, I look at those shelves and I flash to those movies. What does the angel say? Is that true? Does that empty shelf in the thrifty store equal the movie?
No, it doesn't. It's telling me to like get creative.
Okay,
like
good.
Channel some of this like this new emotion, this new feeling.
Put it into your art. Take it into your art, just like
Yeah.
your kid did with the zombie, and you learned that. Take your version of zombie and work with it through your art.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Like I'm already building like a little zine from our meeting now, like how to survive a pandemic. Like, like it's, yeah. So I'm getting there, like check in. What is the underlining for me that can help me see? Because I'm not like super freaked out about this. It's just these like glances that I'm like, oh.
And if that changes or that shifts on you, you deal with that in the moment. You see what she says, you go from there. But right now, that's what she's saying. She's saying shelf doesn't equal hold Estonian future.
Yeah.
Shelf equals work with this, go take this fuel, take this energy. It's energy, right? That lower stuff on that vibrational scale has got less energy in it. It's like funnel it. That's your particular thing. It's funnel this. Go see what comes out of your art. It may reflect the subconscious back to you. There may be some more answers in there. And there may be, you're in relationship with it, right? And you're using your art to find out all the different angles with it as you build and make it, what it reflects back to you.
Yeah, for me, it's just like kind of a way to digest it.
Yeah.
And kind of gain some a bit of that control because I'm allowed to kind of manipulate it and kind of what I create is mine from it.
That's good too. That's power. Some of us are working powerlessness, so you're finding your power in there, finding a place to have some power. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
That's cool. I'll take it.
I'll take it too.
Cool.
I can read the energy, know you quite well, so that's an access point you just found.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's beautiful. Thanks, Christina.
Very welcome. Thank you. Everybody, we do our inner work. It helps all of us, and it helps the world beyond us too. We're all connected. So, Renee, now it's 12. Last time it was 8, so it's going up. So
it went up.
Yeah.
So I've been sitting with this a minute, and what's come up for me is that that my better self is really actually waiting, and that that this, that if I could embrace the gift of this unique time, to really dare to find the joy in being able to do both, the way I like to love and give, but also to learn to do likewise for myself, and to really embrace the possibility of joy that I've been praying for. But I have to let go of the fear of the, being seen or feeling a certain way, even myself. Jump into the possibility that the joy that I've been seeking and wanting is really on the other side, and is right here, and it's right now, if I would allow myself, to just embrace the possibility of it, right?
Yeah, so use the faith to have faith, even if you don't know how or why, that this is a riddle, right? This way that it is presenting to you is your particular riddle to work with, or that edge that you're wanting to get to.
That's it. That's what I've been sitting here just kind of going back and forth, and it's great to listen to other people, and it's like the desire is there, but the fear of the things that I've been.
What does the angel say to that fear, particularly this being seen? I think this is a lot for us who work, helping other people. It's always that focus on other, right? So I know for myself, it's extremely uncomfortable to not be in a role. I'm in a role here right now, right? So I'm having that empathy because I know it's difficult for me. So for many of us on this call, and it gets to what Pauline, I think, brought up about that vulnerability, right? So can there be, from that angel point, some love, discomfort of being seen, or being in the vulnerable or being in the, dare we say, needy position, right? Because it seems like it's need as opposed to needy. We all have needs. We're human beings.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's like the invitation from the angel is this is right, it's okay. And that the other things are noise and lies. And it's okay. I mean, it's now, please let it go. It's like you can let it go because there's a part of me that knows that there's this really joyful place when both things are happening, right? All that I am in the learner, giver, lover, and still know that I love myself enough to take care of myself. And at times there's the tension, and I think that even the evaporation of the money just revealed something underneath, because all that does is keep cover, right? It's cover. It's cover. Oh, I've got to do this my whole month, you know. And so I kept, as I sat here and I was just kind of listening and thankful for being able to be witness for others as we walk through this, is that, you know, the joy is waiting. It's waiting. Embrace it. You know, just embrace it. It's okay. It is okay. It felt a lot like the whole not feeling guilty and not doing enough and not. I feel some of those same things.
So Angel is saying to you, Renee, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's right, and it's now.
It's right. It's good. You being in this tension is an answer for you. And I'm bringing you stuff that will help you get there. You're going to get to the next layer on this thing you've been working to be able to have balance between self and other, and bringing the self into the equation and it being okay, not a weakness, not wrong, not bad, but good, healthy. Probably one of the few things would actually, for somebody who is so service other focused as you are, this is one of the few things that would actually get you there. Because you sure wouldn't take a bunch of that stuff out of your schedule yourself, would you ever? Probably your whole life. If
yeah. It feels like a gift, and I just,
Okay, that's the work for this moment. See what happens from here. But from what I'm seeing, feeling with what I see going on with you, I think you landed a big fish there. Good. To be continued. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just grateful, just feeling like, whoa, as we work this, right? And some of the layers we're getting to. Brenda, you still with me? Might have bounced off. Back to where I started. But even if it feels like I'm back where I started, I shouldn't feel bad. And then there's this crab in the bucket stuff. Ooh, anybody else make some moves or start to do some stuff? And your friends who are colleagues or family or whoever it might be are kind of silently, or maybe not silently, hoping you don't succeed. And then something comes along and it's like, ha ha ha. So if we were to flip this for Brenda, because the energy is here, whether she's here or not, what is our flip? What are our angels saying about this? Is she back where she started? Heck no. Because she's got all that wisdom and experience in her. You can't take that away from somebody. So we're never starting from scratch. I have had to work with this a lot because the visual field has been changing in leaps and bounds before this all happened. And the stuff that I've been doing for years, I have been wanting to release, is being released whether I like it or not. And what's happening here is doing that too, to a certain level and extent, right? So I've been saying often to myself, Brenda, if you listen to this, and I actually set up a constellation and stepped into it, and I could really feel it. It's a modality. People don't know of it, a constellation. I could really feel that, whoa, of course I'm not starting from scratch. Are you kidding me? 51 years old and all the stuff I've been through and all the stuff I have in me, that doesn't get taken away from me. And I work with that and build with that and go from here.
Christina,
Yeah, please.
I'd just like to join you here on this one.
Thank you.
Back to where I started, I'm curious about what that might mean. If you actually were back where you started, what is the fear? What is the meaning behind it?
Right, like, and is that bad, right? There's an
Is
implied,
that? Yeah,
there's an implied bad. So is it, even if you were, if you're probably
yes,
not,
I'm
probably
curious about
erroneous,
that.
but yeah,
Right.
so Brenda, even if you were back there, good.
Yeah, what might that mean?
Yeah, even
then,
if you were starting, and many of us might be quote unquote starting over, right? Does that make it wrong? Does that make it bad? Yeah. And she's not really, because she's not 20 years old or whatever circumstances she was in back there. She's not really. It's a different time and place, and the world is different too. Okay. We'll see how that lands for her. We've done it through the ethers here, so anybody else who that lands for.
I'm also curious about serves you right.
Yes, that's that whole crab in the bucket side of it. That'd be one way I would say. So for somebody who went for it, some people were going for their dreams and they were starting to get their dreams, and people were jealous or envious of them going for the dreams. And then this thing came along and it cut those dreams off at the knees. And some of those people are served you right. She never went for it.
But I'm curious about whose voice that is.
Okay, good. Good. So Brenda or anybody has this thing going on, who is that? I think she literally meant it the way Shelley, I think she literally meant people were saying that to her. But then the question would be, so what? There's someone inside who's uncomfortable with people, people expressing their opinions. Okay, so who is that? Good. Anything else? Good instincts there. Anything else if it was your dream? Okay, let's go to Yuli. I'm not sure if Yuli's still here.
She left a note about what her angel would say.
Thank you. Help me with it. That's good. Thank you for that. That's a good thing I can say to people when they leave, to put their flips.
Yeah, it's really nice. She's just, well, she thanked you for holding the space, but she said she needed to make supper, sorry. My angel shared with me, wow, in quotes, what a gift to be the first person welcoming Canadians home. I can help others shift into welcoming openness and kindness. We're taking the right steps by sharing health information with people upon landing. People will want to do good for ourselves and for others.
Okay, good.
I can put that in the
I'll put C chat.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So she did some work on that, and I'm going to assume with that wow, right? She got somewhere. It's so individual.
Yeah.
We each have to do our own work on our angle of it.
Amazing.
Okay, now we're going to our one at the end here. And we have Shelley to thank for holding the space here at the root here of this one. I feel powerless. My ability to choose and decide is not mine, which leaves me feeling very vulnerable. And it's very difficult to feel vulnerable. What have you come to as you've digested this? Again, muted.
Well, I see instead of an angel, a wise guide as my person.
Good.
That I know this isn't true. The fact that I feel powerless and the ability to choose or decide is not mine. I know that's not true about some things. It is true about other things though.
Yep.
And what I need to remind myself is that I get to decide the how. I get to choose the how, even if I can't choose the what.
Okay, good. So for others, is true. Choose how.
Choose how I do it. I'm quarantined now. I hope our young lady that's worried about people coming back to the country hears my voice and say, I'm in my house. I got my groceries. I got my wine.
You're doing the right thing.
I'm doing the right thing. But honestly, when I was driving to the border and they talked about the border closing, and that I actually might be left on the other side of the border rather than where my home was. It created a lot of anxiety in me, a lot of anxiety, and
Understandably.
about not being home. Like there's practical things, but
Yep.
also the orphan stuff is like someone else is deciding about what happens.
Well, and that whole border and home thing, that's root. I mean, there's no coincidence that you're holding the root chakra position here on this map. That's pretty root stuff, right? Can't get home, can't cross that border. What do people do?
Yes.
This one included, right? Is you head home.
Yeah. So my angel knows about that, or my guide, my wise guide. My wise guide also knows that vulnerability is part of how I feel when I am struggling to find my place in this uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
And my wise guide will also tell me that I know how to do this. I'm 64. But age doesn't always give you that. No, age doesn't always give you that. My wise guide is also telling me that
but that's a reminder, because your child stuff gets stirred up. There's some layers
it's
in
my
there
child
that's
stuff.
child stuff. So it is very
Total orphan.
significant. Yeah. Where you can
total
say,
orphan.
sweetie, I'm 64. I can look
I
after.
gotcha.
I got you. And let's do the collapsing for you too.
Yes, I didn't do that. It was interesting that you talked about that.
I'm going to just do it. Anybody else, you don't, you know, just join me in that feeling of collapse. Shelley, go in there, collect up your orphans from that time period, scoot them on out there, take them where it feels right to take them across the border, get them home. And we're going to go behind in here, behind you, and I'm going to collapse this. I'm getting goosebumps as I'm doing it. I'm bringing in my guys and my allies. Ian's my number one to help do that. He's on the subtle energy level with all his construction stuff, and he's breaking stuff down and filling it in and deconstructing. He's got his whole squad working on it. And that no longer exists. Even if you wanted to go back, you can't. It's done. That orphan is over the border. She's in your land, your world. She can't go back to that world anymore because taking it out. Now she'll have to acclimatize to this new world, across into this foreign land, and go through that weird thing of, wow, I've made it, I'm safe. I'm okay, I'm safe, I got across that border. It's going to take me a bit to acclimatize here and let go of some of that fear and that worry. That's okay, that's normal. Recovery period. She's just been rescued from a bunch of trauma, and you in the now, same thing.
And I will tell her, my little girl from the other side that's crossed the border with me, you're home.
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. You're home.
Welcome home.
All up and down. Ooh. That was powerful. Okay.
Thank you.
Whew. Thank you. Wow. What a way to end this map, Shelley. Bravo. For all of us. Whew. Welcome home. Cross that border. These, I hope this is, and many of you work this way anyway, this is not new stuff for you, but it's a reminder of our states of consciousness. And if anything, it reminds about some awareness. And it's okay when we bop around, when we understandably do, depending on our circumstances and what we're going through, we don't make that wrong. But bringing a greater level of awareness of who's activated, you know, where am I now? Which aspect of consciousness am I in? And then summoning, remembering those allies. And I've given you hopefully a couple of reminders or maybe even new access points of how to go find, whatever you want to call it, that angel. Might be the wise guide for you, Shelley. It might be your future self. It might be faith, God, you know, that is out there, and finding where it is for you. And if it makes sense, embodying it. throwing your consciousness over there and trying that one on for size and turning around and looking at that one who was caught by that other stuff for a moment. And the collapsing, particularly if you are reminded of earlier things in your life, which often we will be. One of the women who was on here earlier had some emails with me, and I know her, and she has a background from a country with civil war in its history. And so seeing those shelves empty reminded her of what it was like in the Civil War, right? And the feelings in the air and stuff, and the isolation and separation, and worried about who is that person, and can I trust them, and not being able to trust anybody, right? So that's just another example of an orphan. So back to that support page that has many resources on it. If you're becoming aware that this stuff in the now is connected to stuff earlier in your life, for those of you who are metaphysical in your other lives, or in the collective unconscious, you can be doing the work for your ancestry, right, as well. There's multiple ways this trauma stuff works. Go to that orphan rescue work. There's another layer there. That's a really good protocol to play with. And you just demonstrated beautifully, Shelley. Thank you. And welcome home. That's what we're doing with orphan rescue, is creating a new home and then taking them there and loving them and giving them a recovery period if they need to. If they've been through some trauma, any person who's been through trauma, that inner you needs some recovery time, and that's what we're providing. That's what you're providing for yourself. And this couple of weeks, that's your, think of it as your recovery tent around you. This is your recovery time. And you're allowed to be looked after and cocooned and go deep and go within. Beautiful. Well, we never know when we do live process work what's going to happen. So this is what happened today in this moment of time. And this is what emerged for each of us about what our current circumstances were provoking at this moment in time, and what your angels, how they were authentically and genuinely responding to you, given going on in the now. And this continues to unfold. And as we see what happens in our individual worlds, pay attention. Hopefully this gives you with some skills to work with, and let it be okay that this is alive. It's continuing to move from here. So just like the one I did from a week ago, we go back and look at that, and it seems a little quaint in some ways because of what was happening. Things have changed. Now we're here. And then we'll move somewhere else. Doesn't mean that it's a negative trajectory. It just means that it's shifting on us. So be in the now, and we can't, our calendars have been stripped, our schedules have been stripped. So we just, it is a way, this is a challenging one for me too, to be in that now. We can't get out there and project it all. But there's another thing on that page, is visioning. And you can do visioning. There's a planetary vision map there called the planetary magnetism map on that page. And so while we are cocooned away and maybe not being able to do our busy usual, boy, you can do a lot. You can do your future self visioning, you can do the planet's vision, put your vote in there. Wouldn't it be nice if? Precede it. Pre-paving is what Abraham Hicks calls it. If you can access that, if you're lower down the emotional scale, that won't be possible. But for those of us who might be a little higher up who can access that, we can do that work on behalf of the collective, right? For others who can't do that, you're higher up the scale, so you can do that visioning work. And don't make it wrong if you're not able to. Just be where you are. I will come back. I think it'll be in another week. I don't know. I'm just following my instincts here. So hopefully this was of use to you. It certainly was of use to me. Thank you for allowing me to be in my role and use my stuff at this moment in time, because thankfully I have some stuff that I think that can be of help for all of us. I know I'm certainly using my tools, and I go up and down that emotional scale too. I thank you so much for coming, because I truly know and understand that we are doing work, we're all one, we're all connected. So it's very powerful work when people do their inner work for us and for the collective at large and for our future. So thank you so much for doing your inner work. What a blessing. love yourselves, love each other, and I'll be back as I can to offer these and see who we are now. Okay, take good
Thank you,
care,
Christy.
everybody. Yeah, feel free to unmute, say goodbye. I'll officially close us, but if anybody's got stuff that's particularly triggered, let me know. I'll keep working if need be.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.